tangents today, because that's what I realize is a fundamental skill you guys are not completely comfortable with. So on the board, here's a topic that we're practicing. We're learning how to draw common internal tangents to two unequal circles, and this is found on page 32. So the first step in beginning the crane hook design in the WhatsApp chat. Let's check if I'm recording. Yes, I am. Okay, good. Is somebody raising their hand? I'm not sure. I think I see somebody's hand. Okay, no. Nobody's hand. Alright. So the crane hook design. The first thing that you must do is have your set square or T-square, and you're gonna border your page. Just quickly sketch your page right here. Okay? Alright? Now, on the diagram, I'm going to ask persons who haven't completed the drawing to assist me. Let's see. Talia, Grizzle, Christoph, and Dimple. You guys are the main focus for this one. So on the drawing, what is the diameter of the circle at the top? There's two circles at the top. What is the diameter there? I think it would be better if I put it on the screen as well, because I'm pretty sure when you're watching this back, you would like to follow along with me. So let me just put it on the screen. 1 second. Tangency. Problems in technical drawing. Let me get the photo so you can just follow with me on the screen. Alright, here we go. Okay, excellent. Let me screen share for you now.
Downward.
Turn on camera. Let's go side by side. Here we go. So here's the photo. What is the diameter of the two circles at the top? This one goes to Christoph. Christoph?
Sir, the diameter of the circle at the top.
Yeah.
Is 45.
90. So that's the first step. You're going to space out your paper, and you're going to use your compass, choose a center point, and you're going to draw those two circles from the same center. So one circle having a diameter of 45, and the next circle, let me just, here we go. So I'm going to sketch it on the board, and I'm going to have this video playing to explain it as well. So let's sketch the first two circles. That's 90. That's 45. Alright? There we go. Okay. Have you guys finished that step? Draw those two circles for me. Now, if your page is a bit too small to draw those circles, you can go half the size of the design. So if the diameter is 90, you can go half of 90 instead and use your diameter as 45. And if your other circle is 45, you can go half the size. And Talia, what would be the half of 45? Talia, what would be the half of 45? The smaller circle. Are you there?
Could you repeat, sir?
So, if you're going to be drawing half the size of the paper, because your paper might be too small, what would be half of 45 diameter?
Half of 45? 22.5?
Right, so instead of having a 45 diameter radius, you could go 22.5. Alright? That's for the diameter now. but you can realize that the radius would already be half. Okay, so depending on what you're choosing, you should have it adjusted. Okay, let's continue. So once you have your two circles, next step.
Can you please send the video, the link of that video in the chat?
Sure, one second.
Because I can't see it properly.
Alright, 1 second. There we go. Let me small this page up a little bit. Alright, there we go. Good. The next thing you're gonna do now is from the center point right here, draw a vertical line downwards to a certain distance, and that distance would be given on your diagram. So look at this diagram for me now. From the center point to this circle center point, what is that distance, Dimple? Look at the dimensions. Let me zoom in for you.
Sorry, sir?
From this distance to this point right here, what is that distance? There's a dimension that gives you the distance. Can you see it? It's 178, right? So from this point, you're gonna go 178 millimeters downwards. 178 millimeters downwards. Alright? And that's gonna be your next center point to obtain the curvature right here. Alright? Okay, good. Now that you know that center point, you can really draw a line across and begin drawing your circles as well. So let me just use this diagram to explain it best, because the board might be a bit too foggy. Here we go. 1 second. 1 second, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Right, so it says, on marks 178, which is the distance from this center point going downwards. Let's see who is that. Sanjana. Welcome back, Sanjana. Alright. So it says on mark 178, the total distance to the next center point, which is right here, right? You're gonna draw a partial circle of radius 45. So my question is, which part of the circle would be partial? Would it be this curvature, or would the curvature on the opposite side? Which would be brightened and which would be a construction? That question goes to, let's see, Talia. If I'm drawing a crane hook, right? And I'm gonna use a partial circle to get a curve. Which curve would be seen? This curve right here, or the curve opposite to it? Would it be, so would the crane hook follow this curve, then it goes around, or would it go beyond that and have the circular fashion there? Talia? Can you repeat that? Alright, let me sketch the crane hook for you, because you guys are really the persons who just joined in January are the reasons why I'm going over this. So if I have a crane hook, right, a sketch of the crane hook would follow just as well. Look at this from Italia. It's going to go along this line and it's going to curve, it's going to curve beyond here. Alright, here's the curvature. Now, to get this curvature, we're going to use a circle, a construction circle, and we're going to take this curve from that construction circle. Do you understand that? So part of the circle, which is how we call it partial. So this part of the circle goes to form the tangential arc that we need for the crane hook. Does that make sense? Right. So the part above it I wouldn't need. It would be a construction. This part right here I wouldn't need. But you must still have it there, but it just needs to be fainter. Just needs to be fainter than this main curve. Alright? So we call these main lines and we call the light line construction lines. Alright.
Diameter 90. And so we are told that from the midpoint here, the diameter of the circle here is the diameter was diameter 90 also. So I'm going to pick radius of 5 and draw the circle here, diameter 90. So I'm going to replicate the same thing. It ends here. Not if it's just okay. After doing that, we are told that the distance from the center here towards this area is 22.
Alright. So look at this for me now. Let me zoom in closer. Do you guys see a dimension right here? It says from the center point to the right, you're gonna go a distance of 22. My question is, why do I go to a distance of 22? What dimension would I need to explain that reasoning? What do you see attached to this point? That question goes to, let's see, Sanjana. Sanjana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Alright, now I'm going to help you to see it. Don't worry, I'm going to help you to see it. So let me just sketch what he has so far, just to help you understand what is going to happen next. So look at this for me now. Can you repeat that?
I see a circle.
Yes, so from this point, you're going to go a distance of 22. And you said the reason why we go here is because what? We're going to see a circle.
Maybe an arc of some sort.
Yes, look at it closely. You see a dimension line extending from this point. And what does that dimension read? R90. What does R90 mean?
Radius 90.
Right. So from this point, we're going to draw an arc of radius 90. That's what it means. Good job. So let me just do that quickly on the board. So from this center point, one second. So from this center point, I'm going to go a distance of 22. And then I'm going to open my compass to a radius of 90. Alright, and I'm going to draw a circular arc. Just the same. That would be my circular arc. Okay? Everybody understand what we're doing so far? Any questions so far? So this arc right here comes from the point from 22. So we can fast forward a little bit. So that's where you guys should reach. So how far are you guys? Let me get some updates from Christoph, Bulgin, Christoph Grizzle, Sanjana, and Talia. How far are you guys?
Sir, I do the first circle. I'm drawing the line right now.
Alright, so while you guys are reaching to this point, I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to check up on Harshita, Isaac, Audley, Arian, Chirag. How far are you guys with the second drawing I gave you in the WhatsApp group? Any difficulties so far?
No, sir.
Alright, Chirag, any difficulties? Arian, Audley?
Sir, turns out I didn't draw the Korean hook, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, alright, no problem. So I know Isaac is really okay, but I just want to know, Isaac, how far are you? Isaac?
I'm doing it, I guess. I don't know how to explain what I'm doing.
Alright, just send me a picture, let me see how far, because I just want to make sure you're doing it correctly, alright? So if you have any difficulty, just send me a picture and I'll just respond at the same time. Alright, so while they're doing that spanner object, we're going to continue with the crane hook. Alright? And now we're gonna continue where we left off. So when you get this curve from going 22 millimeters outward and then I get a 90 radius arc, next thing we're gonna do now is try to connect this circle to the two large circles we created earlier.
The diameter of our circle here is 108. That is what, which is this construction line. Okay.
All right. Now there we go. Now you see we're gonna connect them tangentially, which means to at one point on each circle we must connect them.
You draw it first of all, faintly. You draw it faintly.
All right. So you can estimate it. Once he drew this circle, at some point you will know where the tangential begins. All right? Because all I need to do is to take my ruler. All I need to do is to take my ruler, line it up accordingly. Right? Let me show you. Line it up accordingly to the center point. And wherever it finally hits the circle, that's going to be my tangential point. One second. Let me make that a little bit more brighter so you can see it.
Sir, I can't hear you.
Wait, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that for me? Did someone say something? Alright. Okay, let's continue then. So look at this for me now. Once you connect, so you should not just stop at this point with the curve. Continue to draw it at a point that is halfway 45-degree angle. Alright? About that point. Because at that point you want to connect it to the center of the circle, and this point right here would be a tangential line. So because I'm sketching it, it might not look as accurate as you would on yours, but mine is still colorful just the same. Alright.
Alright, so after doing that, we do that the arc here.
No, if you look on this diagram right here, you get to realize that it no longer just connects to the diagram itself. There is a fillet. We call this a fillet. Alright, I'm going to write that word on the board. You're going to come across again in Senior 4, Senior 5. There is a fillet. Alright? And it is spelled F-I-L-L-E-T. Fillet. No, the word fillet is not a fish. It really means the curvature of a line. So if you realize this line was extended, but then we curved it to a radius of 32. Or we filleted it to a radius of 32, right? That's what it means. Is someone saying something? Okay. Alright, let's continue. So in order to get this curve now, we must use a method to find its center.
This arc of radius was radius 32. So with your compass, measure radius 32. With radius 32,
So open your compass to a radius of 32, and you're gonna go to a point on this line and scribe an arc outwards.
place my compass anywhere or somewhere around here. I strike my first arc with radius 32. Okay? Then I place my compass on the other side here, you understand, to strike my what? My second arc. So I'm having it.
Right. So even yesterday when we were doing the hairbrush, you guys were asking, how do I know the center point of circles that are going to be touching the tangent? It's very simple, and I'm going to sketch it on the board to explain it a little bit further. So everybody stop what you're doing for a moment. So even the person's doing the spanner, stop what you're doing for a second and look at this for me. This is a quick and easy method. My hand is full of chalk. This is a quick and easy method on how to get tangential circles on your diagram. So look at this one, everybody. Everybody paying attention? Let's say I have two circles. Alright? Or rather, let's say I have two lines. And these two lines are going at an angle just in opposite directions. And I want to have a smooth curve. I want to have a smooth curve. Here's what you're going to do. Depending on the angle that you want that curve, so let's say you want the angle of the curve to be 32. You're going to open your compass to a radius of 32. That's step one. Go at any point on this line and call it your tangential point 1, T1. So the tangential point T1 means that's where the curve is going to end on that side. Does that make sense? So when you're at that point and you're using your compass of radius 32, you're going to swipe an arc. Swipe an arc just the same as you see on the board. Can everybody see that? And what do you think I'm going to do now? I'm going to find a second tangential point because the circle must touch those two lines in order for it to be an arc. Alright? Because an arc is just a line that touches 2 points. So I'm going to use the same radius and I'm going to call wherever this curve touches that point, I'm going to call it T2. T2. Alright? And I'm going to intersect those two, and this will be called my center point C1. And now that I know my center point C1, I can draw that lovely curve between those two lines. Because look here now. I'm going to draw it now. It's going to go touching this tangential point 1. And there you go, guys. Everybody understand that? Any questions about how I got that done? Any questions? I want some participation, guys. Any questions?
Sir, could you repeat?
Okay, repeat it for you. Thank you. I have no problem repeating it because you are engaging in the class. Let's repeat it for you. Look at this one now. So let's say, Talia, I have two lines, right? And those two lines meet at a 90-degree angle. You can put a little box right here to prove it, right? But I want it to be a smooth curve because when you look at your phone, doesn't your phone have a smooth curvature? It doesn't just abruptly goes to another corner, right?
Yes.
Right. So phone designers must make sure that your phone doesn't meet at a 90-degree angle, but rather at a curvature. There you go. So the way that they get that curvature is by finding how much they want it to be curved, which is the radius. So if, for example, I'm going to use a radius of 32, then they're going to go at some point on this line, because it's a straight line, and they're going to swipe an arc over here with a radius of 32. Let's do that on the board. So I'm using my radius of 32. I'm going to choose a tangential point right here, and I'm going to call it T1. That's where I want the circle cut. That's where I want the curve to end. Like how you see the curve ends right here, that's my T1 point. That's where I want it to end. Alright? And where the curve touches right here, that's T2 because that's where it ends as well. So, using T1 and the radius 32, I'm going to describe an arc. There you go. And then now, what did I say a while ago, Talia? When I scribe that arc onto the second line, what do I do?
That's your center point.
Right. That becomes a center point for me to find the next arc. So I'm going to call it T2. I'm going to call it T2, and using the same radius, I'm going to scribe another arc on the second line. And this point right here will be the center for my curve. Right? So now that I know my center point, I'm going to use the same radius of 32 and touch both tangential arcs. So here I go. Right? So this is the curvature that I wanted, and here is where my lines continue in their opposite directions. Right? That's how your phone gets its curvature on each side. Does everybody understand that? Any questions? Alright, I'm gonna unmute everybody for a second, and I just want to make sure that you guys are alive because you're so quiet. 1 second. Just a verbal confirmation. Yes, sir, I understand. Alright, Sanjana, do you understand?
Sir, I understand.
Thank you. I want to make sure you guys are alive. So good. I know Christoph is alive. Is everybody else alive? Alright, I have a lot of unalive persons. Let's continue now. So once you know how to get your curve, you're going to go and find the curve for 32 right here. So that was just what I was explaining a while ago. Let's continue now.
What a point of intersection here.
So I went here and I said this is where I want my tangential point to be. So I'm going to open 32, scribe an arc. Now where it touches on this line, I'm going to open 32 again and scribe an arc. And it should be about here.
That's the radius 32. Okay, I drew.
Let me prove it to you.
The other side here, you understand, to strike my second arc.
There you go.
A point of intersection here. With that same radius 32, I place my compass at that point of intersection here. Then I draw.
Bam. Look how lovely that curve is. Alright, look how this is the beautiful part of TD, because the curvature, you determined it and it is actually correct.
Tangential.
And now you connect it back to the second circle. So let me just quickly scribe that for you. Let's connect it back to the second circle. Quickly. There you go. Yours should look a little bit better than mine. Just a little bit, not too much. Alright? And that's your lovely curve.
Okay, in that tangential to each other. Yeah.
Alright. Now that we've solved this entire curvature, our problem now is going to be to finish this curvature, which is very simple.
It's also tangential to each other. I'm going to then also from this area also.
What do we call this point where you're going to draw the line to touch only once? This point right here where the line touches the circle only once. What do we call it? This question goes for Christoph. But somebody said it? Alright. Never mind. So it's tangent. Alright? So it's tangential line you're going to draw to connect both circles. And we did this last term in November. But I'm going to be going over it each class because from this point forward, we're doing real world drawings. And every drawing you will meet has tangents. Alright?
From this area down here is also what? It's also tangential to each other.
It's tangential. Right? It's tangential or tangential.
Yeah. It's it's also tangential to each other. I'm going to do that also.
Right? I can do that, but I've already done it on that side.
Alright, that area is also what has also been settled. So next,
No. The only part that's left for you to figure out is this lovely curvature that you see right here. It's a total of 3 circles right here, and we're gonna go through them together. It's the final part. Alright?
is to get the end here, So how are we going to go about that? Just follow me as we move on. Okay, we notice that the radius for the end of our hook here is what? Radius 45. So on the first point here, with radius 45.
Right, let me repeat that. He said he knows the radius of this curvature right here is going to be 45. So from this point, it's actually a circle, a quadrant of a circle that has a radius of 45. Alright?
Radius 45. So on the first.
So what he can do to find this center point, he could have just said, you know what, let me go 45 millimeters horizontally, and then now I can draw the radius, right? But he chooses to do it another way, and I'll show you that.
Point here with radius 45. Strike an arc on this straight line.
There you go.
Alright.
Right? You could measure it with a ruler, or you could just use your compass and just draw the arc, and wherever the arc touches that line, you know it's going to be 45 millimeters away. Alright, I'm recording this session, by the way, so you guys, if you missed anything, you can definitely watch this video back.
So from that arc,
so once he finds the center point, he's now going to use that point and draw the curvature for this tail.
You strike, you draw an extension, from there. Then with the same 45, you come.
Let me go back. Right. So this should be in construction line, because it's not like you want every section of this to be brightened. You only want the tail end of it, which stops right here.
Then with the same 45, you come right here also.
So before I show you, I want somebody to reason it out for me. Let me pick on. I'm picking on everybody today. Let's pick on, let's see. I think Audley says he's doing the drawing over, right? Audley, is that you? Audley, are you there? Alright, 1 second. Let me stop screen sharing and verify that you guys are here. Audley, Talia, Harshita, your cameras are not on your face. Remember that we're trying to make sure there you go. Ariane, same for you. Cameras on our faces. There you go. Everybody should be like Sanjana. Alright? But let's continue. We're almost finished, guys. So Audley, are you there? I want you to help us out with this final part. We're trying to get this curvature right here. If he's not here, I'm going to place him in the waiting room. 1 second. Put in waiting room. There we go. Alright, next person I'm going to call on Christoph Bulgin. Christoph, are you there? Remember that you guys joined late, so I'm going to go over 10 minutes. So class isn't finished. Alright, he's not there. I'm going to put you in the waiting room as well. Alright, next person. I know Sanjana is here. She's already helped us. Next person is Talia. Talia, you there?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Now, I wanted to think about it just like we've done. So, remember we wanted this curve. To find the center point of that circle, because that curve comes from a circle, the person went out 45 millimeters. Right? And then they drew a 45 millimeter circle from that center point, and it touched here.
Sir,
Yes?
45 millimeters from the center point of the circle.
Mm-hmm. with a compass. So when you draw the compass, the 45 millimeter radius going outwards. So let me draw it for you. So this is the center point. This is the 45 millimeters. And now when you use your compass, you can turn it into a fully circle. And that's a perfect circle on the board there. Alright? So you understand this part, correct?
You said you can make another circle from.
Can you repeat that?
So. I think I was.
Alright. So follow with me now. So in order to draw this circle that you see on the board, he had to go in 45. So he went 45 here. Do you see that? To the center, and then he drew the circle right here. So the circle curve we see right here, but he only brightens this part. So you only see that curve on the tail. Do you see that part right here?
Yes, sir.
Alright, good. Now, we want to find the other part that's going to be right here. My question to you is, if we know that 45 millimeters is the radius, because it says it right here, how far do you think I'm going to go from this point to here? Think about it. It can't be the same 45. Alright, it can't be the same 45. So I'm going to play it quickly and you're going to explain what happened. Alright?
Sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Is it possible you can let Audley back in the...
Okay, he's back now. Alright, let me let him in.
Thank you.
Yep. Alright, yes, Sanjana?
Sir, I don't really understand anything, but could you also look it back in the book? Like,
Oops, well, the Zoom ended. 1 second, let me start it back. Alright, let's set them in. Alright, so Sanjana was saying something. Alright, let me just let Sanjana continue what she was saying. Right, Sanjana, you were saying something, right? You said, okay. Sanjana, you there now? Yes, you were saying that something about a page?
yeah, as in, I know you were recording this class, but do you have it? Do we have this in the book?
Yes.
The TV book.
Yes, right here. So it's on page 33. Page 33. Alright. Now, which section do you want me to assist you with? Is it drawing the circles or the curve? So let me screen share. You're gonna tell me which section is giving you issues. 1 second.
I feel like it's the top where you first draw the circle.
Right here?
Yeah.
Alright. So let me explain it. So you're gonna choose any point, right? Any point, and you're gonna call it your center point. Now remember, center point really means it's the middle of the circle. Alright? So when you choose the middle of the circle, Sanjana, you're going to now use your compass, right? Your compass, which has 2 legs, just like this. And you're gonna put the metal part into the center. And then with the pencil, you're going to go out and measure a radius of 22.5. Right, you remember how to do that? Because if the diameter is 45, to draw the circle, you use the radius, which is half of it. Understand that? Did I lose you right there? Alright, let me repeat it again.
A little.
Alright, let me repeat it. Don't worry, let me repeat it again. So, get your ruler for me. 1 second. Here's your ruler. you're going to put your compass on the ruler and you're going to measure out 22.5 millimeters. So let's say that the 22.5 millimeters, trying to find a longer chart. Let's say the 22.5 millimeters stopped right here. Alright, have you done that? Let me know once you finish that part. So you measure out 22.5 on the compass. And you're going to hold it just like that. Are you finished? Oh, 1 second. I see somebody in the chat. We reduce the size of the drawing. So if you're reducing the size of the drawing, everybody, you must reduce every measurement by the same. So if you went half of the circle, everything else must be half. Alright, so that's why it might look different. So if, for example, you went and changed the measurements to 45, which is half of it, the distance you went out must be 11. Must be half of that as well. Understand? Alright. So Sanjana, let me see where you are. Let me look at your camera. So put it on the ruler for me and measure out 22.5, right? So measure 22.5 on the ruler. There you go. You're muted, I can't hear you. You're muted. Alright. So put the metal part at 0. Put the metal part at 0. And then you're going to put the pencil.
I'm shivering.
You're shivering?
Yeah, it's not cold, it's just that my hand is like trembling for some odd reason.
Gotcha. So you're going to put the metal part at 0 and extend the pencil part until it's 22.5.
It's there.
Alright, good. Now that you have the 22.5, don't shake the compass, keep it steady. You're going to put the metal part now on your paper and then you're going to draw that circle. Alright, are you finished? Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just record a section to explain for Sanjana. So everybody else, is everybody else clear on the drawing? Alright, nobody's saying yes or no, so I'm going to take it that you guys understand. So Sanjana, I'm going to send you a quick video to explain it in the WhatsApp group, alright? Just how to get the measurements. For everybody else, have a great rest of the day. Take care, everybody.
Wait, sir, do we need to do the wrench? If do the people who did the hook need to do the wrench too?
Yeah, so for example, Isaac finished the hook, so he spent today doing the wrench or the spanner. Alright? So that's what your task is today. It's gonna be due on Friday.
And do we need to resubmit the hook or something?
Oh, no. So if you submitted it last term, the grade will go for this term. Alright? But if you haven't completed it, you can submit it this term. Alright?
I see you have to do a lot of things.
So I'll explain how to get the circles and send it in the group for anybody else that would need me to explain it. Alright? Have a great lunch, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Alright, let me continue. Right here. There we go. So I'm going to explain how to get the circles for Sanjana. Where's the mark chalk? There we go. Alright, Sanjana. So as I said, your goal is to get those 2 circles. Your goal is to get those 2 circles. Alright? Now, there's a thing in technical drawing where you can use your compass, put it on a ruler, and you can measure out any distance, and that would be called your radius. Let me write it in white. Your radius. Radius. Because of the simple fact that once we have a measurement on our compass, we can choose a center point and draw a circle. Alright? Now, let me explain what you're going to do. You're going to open your compass and try to find half of 45, because from the center point to this point is 22.5, but the entire distance across it is 45, because the diameter means the entire distance passing through the circle, passing through the center of the circle rather. But a radius is half of that. That would be a radius, and the entirety of it would be a diameter. Alright? So, open your compass to 22.5. Let's say this is my distance. I'm going to choose a center point, and I'm going to draw this circle. Right? And that would be the smaller circle. Now, to draw the larger one, you're going to open your compass to 45 now. So you're going to take your compass and measure out 45. You're going to realize it's larger. Yes, using the same center point now, you're going to draw that circle. Right? And that is the method to get those 2 circles. Now, to explain how you get the rest of the drawing, right? You're going to watch the rest of the video that we recorded today, as well as this video that is explaining it, but I went more in depth. Alright? Have a great day, everybody.